Annyeonghaseyo, friends and families. It is Chonare. I'm back with my second video. I'm here to tell you some tips and tricks and give you some information on the TaLK interview process. Not the application process, because that will be a second video in all by itself, because these two processes in themselves are very, very long, babies. Very long. Let me tell you, I got some bald spots, some gray hairs everywhere, as you will read down below in my first introduction to the application process. My interview process was two parts. The first one's about 4 months after I did my initial application, and the second one's about 6 months after my initial application. The first one I did, I made a boo-boo. I made a big boo-boo. I made a big boo-boo that looked like a blip all over my screen, like splats, like you just hit a body and it's just all over your windshield. That's a bad visualization, but I just saw the death of my chance of being a TaLK scholar. So what happened was I had a lot going on at the time. I had drill work. I was working 2 jobs. I was doing homework, essays, classes. I was taking 18 credits. My life was hectic. So when this email came, I was excited, number 1. I was flustered, number 2. And number 4, I was using my phone, which I use as my computer and my calendar, to answer him. And so I was switching back and forth between my calendar and the email, trying to, partner up when I wanted to meet him, what time it was over there, what time it was over here, and then my schedule. So between those factors, something didn't meet up. And I was like, oh crap, I got a conflict of schedule. So I hurried up and emailed him back and was like, excuse me, I'm sorry, such and such happened. Can we reschedule for this day? Now, his email was not very nice when he replied. And I was like, I hate you. I hate you. I really hate you. And you rude. You rude. And you know you rude. But eventually it did get rescheduled. And then at that point I was like, holy mess. This guy is gonna hate me. Or I've got a big X next to my name and he's just interviewing me out of courtesy, because this little pre-episode looks bad. And I was so nervous going into this thing. I was like, oh please, let me blow this, let me make this just the best interview ever. And I did really good. He asked questions like, when should you show up to class prepare? I said 30 minutes. That's wrong. It's an hour and 30 minutes or an hour. I know this now. Thank you, Mr. Interviewer. Because he said that most times, things that happen in Korea happen last minute. So you have to pali and make changes and arrangements. And I mean, that's all fine and dandy. No problems there. So the second thing I remember him asking is, what does TaLK stand for? Which you should know. Excuse me while I make this completely clear. Know what the program's acronym stands for. Okay? As knows it, you needs to knows it. Okay? TaLK stands for Teach and Learn in Korea. Korea. Okay? The third thing he asked me was what experiences I had in Korea. Like, what kind of experience or interest do I have with the culture? Which is flipping easy for me to answer. Don't say K nothing. K-pop, K-drama. Like I said, don't say it. You look bad. You look like a fool. You're not going to get in. Period. Say you love a language. Fine. Don't say you love Kim Tae-hoon, J-boom koom, shloom boom, member of Hot Bang Shame. Okay? Don't do it. It's good you like their pop culture, but that's not all they have to offer. What else? He also asked questions about moi. Yes, you, as I had done, need to study what you wrote in your personal essay that you submitted to them. You need to know what you said that you did. You need to know what school you tutor at in high school. You need to know what subject you taught in college as a tutor. You need to know the name of the high school. You need to know the name of the college. You need to know the name of the school in Korea that you taught in, that you said you taught in. Because if you don't, you look like a liar. I mean, I use quotation marks because sometimes you fluff the truth. All those things are examples from things I've actually done. But if you're fluffing the truth, you need to know how you fluffed it. Because if you're using a fork for one and a spoon for another, they're going to get the wrong one and they're going to know that you were lying. Because your salad ain't going to taste all fluffy like it did the first time. I don't know how you make a salad fluffy, but you're going to do it. And you got to do it the right way both times. Okay? Bad examples aside, know what you wrote about yourself. Other than that, I don't really remember any hard-hitting, shake-em-up questions. The interview lasted about half an hour. The second interview was the doozy. It was more about the teaching philosophy that I had. Honestly, it wasn't that hard for me at the beginning because it was basically things that I already knew about, already wrote about, or research about, or had experienced. Like I said in my quotations example, I have been a tutor in high school. I taught a acculturation class in Korea to an elementary school, which made me a shining candidate in my idea. I mean, it was like a whoop whoop to me. Yes, I taught in Korea already. But, and the third thing I've done is teach acculturation classes as the president for my college, as a multicultural student union president. Bragging, I know. Anyway, so I gave her all those examples from there, like teaching styles, how to deal with disruptive or uninterested students. But then she came back with this. If you have a child with special needs in your class and there's a mix between special ed and normal children in your class and that one child is being disruptive, how are you going to deal with the class and that student in that one moment? And I was like, lady, I don't know. I really don't know. To myself, I said that in that voice. And I was like, oh, go away. You were the devil. And then on the outside, I said, I don't really know. I know, for goodness sakes, I said that because the moment it came out of my mouth, I regretted it. But I said, I don't really know. But then I gave her an answer that I thought was legitimate. And after that, she asked some more questions about my teaching philosophy. So know some things about teaching. Even if you're not a teaching major, I'm an international studies major. Even if you're not a teaching major, know things about teaching and develop a philosophy that you can work off of and draw from to answer these questions. Even if it's repetitive, stick with it. Stick to your guns. Don't get wishy-washy. She also asks more in-depth cultural questions, like how would you feel if someone from your family is coming to visit you, but your supervisor invited you out to drinks? You need to answer, you go with your supervisor. Mama can wait. You need to say you're going to go with your supervisor. Because in Korea, as you should know if you're applying for this, bosses are God. Bosses, I mean, don't just do what your boss says, but literally their wants come first. So you need to know this going into this culture. Like, mom's coming, boss wants to drink. You go drink with boss, mom's going to wander around Seoul for a little bit. Okay? That's unfortunately the way you have to answer these questions, and might be the way you have to act. So, another thing was, she said there's a lot of, standards that are different in Korea. How would you deal with that? Like, I said this too. I said, I've been in Korea and I understand that they have different beauty standards, and sometimes people are going to call you fat, sometimes people are going to call you ugly, and you just have to roll with it. I mean, I'll keep my individual style, but I'll also mold myself to fit in with other people. That sounded bad to me, but it must have sounded good to her because I made it. But those are the things that they asked me that I remember and stuck out. And I think if you're just confident, you know what you wrote, you know some basic backgrounds about teaching and your own philosophy about teaching, you will be fine. So be confident, be calm, be your professional self, and be knowledgeable. Okay, those are the 4 things I suggest you do and be during these interviews. Also, like I said, know your personal essay. Also, another thing I recommend is get some Korean skills. Get a certificate that proves that you are able to speak the language above a 안녕하세요. Okay? Even if it's 반갑습니다 is as far as you get. Like, don't speak to them in Korean. No, don't do that. Don't take that as what I said. Have some kind of proof to send them with your required documents, or when you show up, to be like, look at me, I'm shiny and new. Because that's one of the things I mentioned, because I'm certified through a program as an intermediate high Korean speaker. Like, I can function at that level. Like, I'm not like good duh when I get talked to. So if you have that, that's another check mark in a box. And if you mention it, more kudos to you. But in retrospect, someone told me that runs the risk of you not having a co-teacher. The third tip is get your TOEFL or TEFL or something. I got mine, and I mentioned it in the interview because I had that long window of time just sitting there, and I was like, I'm not doing anything. I went online and got that. And when I said that, her whole face lit up. Okay? Her whole face lit up. And it made me that much more confident that what I was saying was that much better than what anybody else would say, just saying, yeah, I'm in college and I want to go to Korea because I like Korea. Okay? Put some effort into this, guys, and you can make it too. No matter how messed up or weird your questions sound, just answer them confidently, answer them professionally, and answer them as yourself. Okay? So for right now, that's it for me. Friends, family, people who are interested, I appreciate you watching. It's been a long one, but this was important and there's not enough videos about it. So, 안녕히 계세요, 여러분. Thank you for watching.